This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks get a much-needed win tonight. And I see Sean Richardson in the chat, and he says, trash-ass win tonight. If y'all are happy with this coach and this win, y'all are delusional. A win is a win, bro. A win is a win. You take the wins. What, would you rather not have the win? Does that really make sense, Sean? Would you rather not have the win? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. You know, the Knicks going to overtime without Karl Anthony Towns. And they beat the 76ers in Philadelphia. Did they play the best? No, I'm not going to say that they did. But they got a win that they needed. I'm starting to feel like for some people, they'll be happier if we lose. It's starting to feel like the Julius Randle thing all over again for some people. Like almost like they'd rather lose because so that they can see the coach get fired, right? You know, there were people that wanted the Knicks to lose so Julius Randle could get traded. Starting to feel like that right now with Coach, with Tibbs. The Knicks get their 27th win of the season. What are they, 12 games above 500? Winning overtime to the Philadelphia 76ers. Instead of just, let's really analyze the game instead of just trashing the coach. Now, you can criticize things that you don't like we were just doing on Knicks and Bruises. You know, but when you just blade out, I'm just going to trash this guy because I don't like it. Well, now it's just corny. Now it's just corny. Tony, what you think about the game?
Oh, I wasn't happy with the win, but a win is a win.
What is a win?
I was happy
what is a win?
to win. You know what I mean? But I really thought this was a game that we should have dominated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I titled my show, man. We played with our food and we almost choked.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the Knicks have a tendency to play with their food this year. I get that they're figuring things out. It's great to win while figuring things out, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As opposed to losing and learning that way.
Right.
But we enter in the second half of second half of the season now. All the 20 game evaluations and you know what I mean? Yeah. We've been through 2 of them now.
Yeah.
And this is the home stretch.
Right.
And we got to clean some things up.
Without a doubt. Got to clean some things up. Greg said, losing forces change. Randle is trash and Cat is better. The Knicks didn't lose with Randle. I'm not saying Karl Anthony Towns isn't better, but the Knicks didn't lose with Randle.
Not last year.
I mean, they lost in the playoffs. I dig it, but they continuously got better with Randle. So, come on.
And I think that will continue with you know what I mean?
With Cat.
With the team.
Yeah. With the team.
Absolutely.
I agree. Late game execution, right? We've seen this in a couple of we've been seeing it with this team. Late game execution. This game shouldn't have went in overtime.
It starts in the third quarter.
Right. Game shouldn't have went in overtime. Late game execution is something that, the Knicks have struggled with this season. They part of it is being a team that's new together. You know, part of it is just execution issues. You know, they got to figure that out. You know, if you want to be a championship team, you've got to be able to execute in the clutch. And teams need to be afraid that if they get into a clutch situation with you,
Game's over.
game's over, right? Because you know how to execute, and they know that you know how to execute. Right now, I don't think that's the case with the Knicks. I don't think teams are afraid of them in the clutch.
Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think if they either feel like, let's keep it close, we can win it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or let's put them away now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because you know what I mean? We could go on a little run and put it out of reach.
Right. You know. So the Knicks got to figure that out. Late game execution. Now, on your show, we were talking about Brunson. And, you know, if Brunson is being too ball dominant right now. You know what I mean? And I think there's definitely legitimate claims to him being, you know, too ball dominant. What, he take 22 shots tonight? And, you know, maybe, and this might be a night when it was a little more called for,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for him to be ball dominant. But we have seen games where the ball sticks. Right? The ball sticks. And sometimes takes some, like Clyde would say, ill-advised shots. You know what I mean?
I'm less concerned with his shot attempts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know what shots he takes. Every now and again, he might take a three that I feel is ill-advised. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, like his shot attempts, I'm usually okay with. It's the ball actually sticking. And it's crazy to me because as much as people argued this before with him and Randall both, I never really put any credence to it. And for some reason this year it is sticking out a lot more.
Right.
With the understanding that, you know, he had to do this for us to win before.
I think it's sticking out more because he's basically the only guy on the team.
That's able.
He's basically the only one-on-one guy on the team. And every team needs to have those guys, at least one of those guys, right? Maybe even two. But he's the only one-on-one guy on this team. We talked about this a couple of shows ago. Maybe it was after the OKC game. It was after one of those games. We talked about it and said there's going to be nights when you need him to go on one-on-one, and there's going to be nights when you don't need him to go one-on-one. But he's the only one-on-one guy on his team, and that's part of the offense, right? That's part of this offense. Other guys get the ball through assists, da-da-da-da-da. Brunson kind of gets his through one-on-one play.
I do want to definitely break down and get into some positives. You know what I mean? Like I was ripping on Brunson a little bit on my show. We talking about that here. I do think there was some bright spots. You know what I mean in today's game. We struggle a lot in half court offense this year. I think tonight we showed some things in the half court.
Okay.
That you know what I mean was encouraging. The only problem with that is like the bad part of it is Brunson, you know what I mean? If he gets off the ball faster, we could work in that half court offense. Right. I think the strategies recently have been a lot of double teams for Brunson, and he doesn't get off the double team fast, and then a lot of time he gets it right back. So it's like, you know what I mean? So now that's 14 seconds right there before any action is actually run. But I thought we did a better job for the majority of the game in the half court, and that was encouraging. I think Sims might have gave himself a little bit of trade value tonight. It looked like he was aggressive. Like this probably was the most aggressive I've seen him in entire game,
Okay.
and he didn't play a lot of minutes, but to see him look at the rim, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, on them offensive rebounds was
22
definitely
minutes.
encouraging.
22
Huh?
minutes.
Yeah,
Not bad.
22. That's good for him.
Yep, 22 minutes. Not bad. I mean,
Josh Hart, man,
obviously Josh Hart, right? 10 points,
playmaking.
17 rebounds, 12 assists. You know, what can you say about Josh Hart? 4 steals. He does it all for this team. He's the glue
Is there
guy.
somebody else that could fill in his role, or do you think he's just
He's unique.
like Tibbs would say? Well, reading the offense, giving what the defense, you know what I mean, what the defense gives you, because it seems like he's the only guy that's making the play off of the Brunson double. Maybe that's because he's the guy that's being left open.
Yeah.
But he's always seems to be the closest guy to Brunson. You know what I mean? To get that pass to make that next play. And he was great at it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But if he's off in that role, we're screwed. you know what I mean? Especially if Cat is not out there.
Right. I mean, I don't think we have another all-purpose guy like that. That's what he is. He's an all-purpose guy. I don't know if we have another one on this team currently.
If he's not on the floor, obviously, if Precious on the floor, he's gonna be the guy they double off of.
Right.
Who can you put in Deuce to where that they can't double, or if Deuce is on the floor, who are they doubling off of?
They're not doubling off of Deuce. You mean if Deuce and Josh Hart is on the floor?
If Josh Hart is not on the floor and Precious is not on the floor, so Deuce is in instead of Josh Hart, who are they doubling off of? Because I'm trying to say, like, in that aspect, somebody would have to fill into that Josh Hart role.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know who they're doubling
Because
off.
we got him. That's the only other thing that will help us is make it so teams can't double us. We thought that was going to be another plus for us this year, that Brunson would see less double teams. I feel like he's seeing more double teams this year than
but
last year.
Sometimes teams are just like, make somebody else beat you. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's one of their top 2 scorers. He handles the ball. He's the engine. He gets the team. Make somebody else beat you. So keep sending double teams down. Anybody but Brunson, right? Make somebody else beat you. I did that tonight. Coaching. It worked for the first quarter. But then, we only had one day to practice our scheme, so we kind of, it got too loose. But we said the only person that, when we score and they inbound the ball, the only person that gets it is number 0. She doesn't know what to do with the ball, and it worked. And it was like, we're not going to let number 3 do what she does.
And
so we took the ball out of her hands. So, that's what teams are probably like, you know what, we're going to make it hard, really, really hard on Brunson. And if teams, good coaches will say, if we take everybody else away, let's force Brunson to go one-on-one and stop the flow of their offense. You know what I'm saying? How many times have we seen a game, any game, and you hear the announcer say, turn such and such into a scorer. Turn Chris Paul into a scorer. Make him score, because if you make him score, okay, let him have 40. Because if he has 40, nobody else is really getting anything. You know what I'm saying? Because he's also the assist guy. Jaylen Brunson's not the same type of assist guy, right? But if you get him in the mode of going one-on-one, you know what I'm saying? Then now, you effectively shut down other people without even playing defense on them. But
and that's kind of what, I mean, a lot of us have been complaining about, you know what I mean? Some Me to a lesser degree than others, but
So, it's still a work in progress. Let me say that. This particular team has had a half a season together. So still a work in progress and figuring out how they play best off of one another.
and maybe Josh Hart being maybe he's the most comfortable in that role, considering he's the longest tenured starter. You know what I mean, other than Brunson.
Right?
You know what I mean. So he's probably the most comfortable
Right.
of filling that void. I mean, because again, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are we putting too much pressure on Josh Hart to kind of give these type of performances? You know what I mean? Like, he's our next best
I mean,
playmaker in a sense.
Yeah, I think he does these things naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah, I don't think it's him like even going out and trying to do it. I mean, obviously he's trying, but like making a concerted effort to say I'm gonna get a triple double. I think he's just playing the game as it comes to him, and takes
Right.
takes what comes to him, takes what he needs, and gives what the team needs. You know what I mean?
And I'll take it back because he can impact the game with a double without scoring, without the 10 points. You know what I mean? And he's had a couple of those. I think he leads the league in double doubles without having 10 points.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're putting the onus on him to be the scorer.
Right.
Those other things he does a lot more naturally.
Right.
I agree.
Right. Greg said, just like how Sim made excuses for Randall, now he's making excuses for Brunson ball hogging and not moving the ball. How about I'm just an objective person?
And we acknowledge we both acknowledge the legitimacy of
right. How about I'm just objective to the basketball game? Things happen for reasons. One thing leads to another. That's it. It's not always a one-way street, Greg. Not always.
How nervous were you down the stretch of this game?
I was nervous because the Knicks have, faltered down the stretch of games. The late game execution hasn't been that good for this team, So, yeah, I was definitely nervous that they would give the game away. But the 76ers are another team, our team that's also, struggling in certain aspects of the game. But if the Knicks are going to be serious championship contenders, they've got to be able to execute down the stretch. It's imperative. They got to be able to execute down the stretch. That includes Brunson. And guess what, Greg and Sean? That includes Tom Thibodeau executing down the stretch. Right? We were just talking on Tony's show about Brunson over dribbling sometimes. And whose job is it to let him know that he's over dribbling? Whose job is it to say, we need to do this, we need to move the ball like this, we need to get it to this player, that player, et cetera, et cetera? Tom Thibodeau. Right? And if he allows it to happen, it'll just continue and maybe get worse.
What'd you think of Precious today?
I mean, Precious, for a while, he's been showing me his athleticism, showing everybody his athleticism and what he can do, out there on the floor. 10 points tonight, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 blocks for Precious. He's a guy that can put up he's not going to give you assists like that, but rebounds, steals, blocks, he can fill up the stat sheet too.
Looked a lot more comfortable tonight. Probably it being Philly might have helped a little bit. You know what I mean? Going through the playoff battle and the playoff wars and being very integral to us beating them. So that probably had his juices flowing a little bit. But he looked comfortable tonight. And I keep saying it. He's one of those guys that the longer he plays into the season, and then the more his role is solidified, I think the more you can count on him to kind of be solid night in and night out.
Right.
When his role is sporadic, it's a lot tougher for him to come in and be effective. 7 minutes here and
right. Yeah. No Karl Anthony Towns, ladies and gentlemen. No crack tonight, but the Knicks still pull out a win. Josh Hart, 10 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists. OG Anunoby, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Jericho Sims, 22 minutes tonight. Started in lieu of Karl Anthony Towns, 8 points, 7 rebounds. Bridges, 23 points tonight. Jaylen Brunson, 38 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Tonight, he was hot tonight. 63% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. Precious played 30 minutes, 10 points, 6 rebounds. Deuce McBride, 21 minutes, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And Campaign played 7 minutes, had 6 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. The Knicks defeat the 76ers in overtime. I
thought Mikal had a great first half. I thought great game overall. I thought he was a little underutilized in the second half. I've noticed that a lot too. Where Mikal might have a good first half, and then that second half he might get 2 shots. You know what I mean? He might get 4 shots in the second half. OG looked to be in a shooting slump, but hit that big 3 in the fourth quarter. I think it put us either back up 3. I think it put us back up 3 late in the fourth. But yeah, man, a win is a win.
So win is a win, man. The team is still under development, ladies and gentlemen. For the 76ers, they were led in scoring by Paul George, 26. Oh, I'm sorry. Tyrese Maxey, 33 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Paul George had 26 points and 6 assists tonight. Kelly Oubre Jr., 16 points, 10 rebounds. Center, I can't say his entire name. I'm too tired.
Yabusele?
Yeah, there you go. You got it. 9 points, 6 assists. Eric Gordon played 21 minutes, 14 points tonight. We talked about Tyrese Maxey, 33 points. Justin Edwards, 10 points. Everyone else did nilch.
Shamet didn't play, right?
No, he didn't play.
Thoughts? Take anything?
Something that he did,
Just
Tibbs don't like. Whatever it was, we don't know. Tibbs, something that Tibbs don't like. Don't know what. I thought he was starting to get comfortable out there.
It looked like his role was solidified.
Right.
His rotational spot was solidified, for sure.
That's what it seemed like. Right? That's what it seemed like. Can't call it. I don't know.
But Josh Hart, my player of the game for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a honorable. I don't even know if it's an honorable mention, but just a shout out to Sims for stepping up in the absence.
Okay.
Of Karl Anthony Towns, and also he's been absent in the rotation as well.
Yeah.
For some time now, so to come in and just put some solid minutes in it. It wasn't anything outstanding, but I felt like this was his best game of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had some quality minutes.
Okay.
So
yeah, Battle of Jericho. Got a caller on the line. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please.
Hey, this is Ron from Pittsburgh.
Ron, what's going on, Ron? How you feeling?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good, man.
good.
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Well, it's very interesting that that there are still people out there saying, "Oh, Josh Hart's, is kind of a bench guy and everything." And then we're looking at the box score and we're seeing almost 50 minutes, 50, 49 minutes and whatever.
Yeah, 49 minutes tonight. Triple.
I mean, 50 minutes. I mean, and he was as energetic at the end of that game as he was in the beginning of the game. I mean, the guy is just incredible. And I just think that Hart, there are so many ways that you can't measure Hart. You can't really do it with statistics. A triple-double is about the best way you can do it. But you have to, as you guys know, you have to actually see him play in these games. The casual fan that doesn't but follows box scores would have no idea the impact that Josh Hart has on that court.
True.
And what it leads to, whether it's on the offensive end with his assist, the defensive steals, the being in the right place at the right time, the instinctiveness. And basically he really is a guard. I mean, he rebounds like a forward.
Yeah.
But he really is a guard. I mean, essentially he probably could play in a backcourt all the time with, Bridges being more of say a three. Not that it really matters, but the thing that I love about the Knicks, that I love, because tonight I was watching it and I was really happy, and I know that there were a lot of, well, they could have done this, they could have done that, this play was bad, this decision was bad. I mean, we always have every game where we could all nitpick at everything that happens and when it happens, and overlook all the other things that we're not thinking about, if we're training our minds that way. But the thing that I love, and I love about New York, of course, I was a native New Yorker, but the thing I love about New York is when they get gritty. So when you have Josh Hart playing the way he did, when you had Precious Achiuwa playing the way he was doing in the playoffs last year, the way he was doing towards the end of last season, when we weren't really expecting that much out of him, he was just a throw-in in that trade that was made,
right?
Pretty much. But even at 6'8" or whatever, for him to be playing when he plays with that kind of intensity on defense, and Hart is playing at his level. I mean, these are guys that are just ancillary guys technically, but these are the glue, along with Brunson, to this team.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have a guy like Cat in there, a big guy who's dominant, you have to have this grit. And I think that the grit, which I like better than the flash of Los Angeles, with all the speed guys and the Laker tradition, I like the grit that we have seen in Hart and Brunson and Precious, at least tonight, and Anunoby, which defensively, if you even watch the guy, I mean, Maxey is a phenomenal player. Maxey is just absolutely blew everybody off the court tonight. I mean, he was hitting everything. He was going past everybody. And I don't think that's a statement against the Knicks defense. I mean, I think the guy, once in a while, a guy's going to come along that's that good, that is just going to be that hot or that fast or that explosive, that you could say, well, where was the defense? And it's like, well, come on. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's playing at the top of his game right now.
Right.
And nobody's going to stop that guy, on any given night. And that's the way it is with all these guys. They have their good nights. They have the nights that they can't hit anything.
Right.
So it's just interesting. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's just interesting, even as a fan, and to see fan reactions, as you guys know, with basketball, that unlike football, pretty much, or some other sports, it's always like a night-to-night thing. Whereas if a team plays well, everybody's, going crazy. And then the very next night, if they play terrible, it's, trade this guy, trade that guy, fire the coach.
Right.
It's just the whole mentality of the fans that can change from day to day. You have to wonder, there could be a whole show just based on
Yeah.
what it's like to be a fan, and
Right.
and how, how fans can just, maybe it's the adrenaline or the euphoria of the action or
It
something that
is.
clouds
That's a big part
a
of it.
fan's head to
Yeah.
the point where they, from a day to day, they don't know, whether they're going to be feeling terrible or whether they're going to be ecstatic.
Right.
That would just make a pretty interesting psychological
Yeah.
study. And I'm sorry
No,
I went on with all
that
this.
would be a great psychological study.
Hey Sam, how many times have we talked about? It's crazy how much a win could affect your night, or a
Yep.
loss could affect your night.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Your sleep,
Your sleep, anything. You
you know what I
need,
mean?
right.
All that. So
Everything.
spot on, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. Ron, I appreciate you, man. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and we all know that, yes, it's not the end of the world if you drop one of these games. Of course, there's still a long season to go. And it's not going to be the end of the world like it is sometimes in football. It's a little bit more
Right.
limited with, 17 games or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not the end of the world, but still, it's interesting. As a fan, in fact, I got to get to Madison Square Garden one of these days if I can. But the
Come to
only
one of the
thing I
events.
wanted to point out is the thing that made me most excited tonight, in addition to the errors and in judgment or whatever, was the grittiness of the gritty players that they have on a team. Of course, Hartenstein was gritty, and so was DiVincenzo, and
Right.
these are not the most flashiest and I don't know, sexiest might not be the word, but players that you would normally want on a floor. You'd want flashy guys, but it's just exciting. It was like exciting just going years back when the Knicks really gave the great Chicago Bull team, the Pippen, Michael Jordan teams, the hardest time of any team in the NBA.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
in those playoffs,
yeah.
if you remember.
I thought the Knicks
And-
could
and-
beat that team, but I think that's the year when everybody got suspended in Miami. And Miami ended up playing them in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
But without any real scores, because Starks was pretty much average, and Ewing actually turned out to be really their number one scorer at that point, I thought, as their best shooter. They were still keeping the games like 90 to 87. It was low scoring, and it was typical New York, banging the boards, being super physical, super tough.
Right.
And that's what the city of New York personifies and always has. Even though everybody else out there will say, well, you're just saying that, because you're a former New Yorker. No, New York is New York.
That's it.
And New York is tough, and there isn't any place in this country that's as tough as New York. And that's why it's great to have players that can personify that level of toughness and show, we don't have to be flashy. We can win by just being tough. And we're going to go out there and we're going to, like somebody once said about Josh Hart, he's a guy that when he plays basketball, he will run through the wall if he has to save a pass or something.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that won't do that.
Yeah.
They won't do that. Unfortunately, I don't think Mikal Bridges would do it. That's not a knock to him, but I don't think he has the same mindset of a Josh Hart. But,
no, Josh Hart is a different breed of player. Yeah.
But thanks, guys. I'm sorry to
appreciate
take up all this time.
No. I love the
Great
conversation, bro. Have a good
That's
one.
great talking to you. Thank
Yes,
you.
Yeah.
Sim, I was thinking this during the game, but he just made me remember tonight's game again to just keep some positive vibes. This was the closest of any game this year that reminded me of last year's team.
Okay.
That, you know what I mean? Like, so we definitely showed resilience. We definitely showed some toughness. Again, the same way I was talking about their side and their perspective, Philly, you know what I mean? I think the Knicks it brought them back to that playoff series, if you will. So they kind of recreated some of that magic. I want to say we had like 15 offensive rebounds. I want to say I might be exaggerating, but we had a lot of offensive rebounds.
Well, we had
I think
54. We out rebounded them 54-39.
so we probably had 15 plus offensive
And
rebounds.
we had 15 offensive rebounds.
You know what I mean? I felt like OG rebounded the ball tonight. A lot better than normal.
Mm.
So yeah. Again, this was the closest to that grittiness that I've seen. That was our identity last year.
Right.
That I've seen this team show this year. And again, this is definitely not a knock on Cat. It's just coincidence. It's a game without him. To me, that's actually encouraging as well, because we've pointed out Cat has been one of our toughest players, if not the toughest guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe Josh Hart. You know what I mean? But Cat has been
He's been tough.
Surprisingly tough this year.
Yeah.
So
he's definitely been tough. You know. Yeah. I don't know. And I'm sorry. 45. The Knicks had 45 rebounds, 15 offensive, 45 rebounds to 35 for Philadelphia. 15 offensive.
Well, again, dominating the boards. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like last year's team.
Yeah.
28, so that was a good
28 assists by the Knicks, 10 steals, 3 blocks, only 13 turnovers. Shot 53% from the field, 43% from the three-point line, and 70.8% from the free throw line.
I ain't like that, man.
But
trying to give chicken away all day.
You know. Let me get you a call. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please.
Hi, Sims. This is Nev, the Disruptor. I've spoken to you guys before several times, so it's nice to to talk to you guys again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
So my reason for calling tonight is to let you know that Leon Rose should fire his best friend Tibbs right now. right now. Or find a way to get him in the front office of retiring. Whatever is the best.
Okay.
Because first thing I want to do is take you back and our listeners out there, when we first hired Tibbs.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, Tibbs were basically out of the league. You know, when Leon Rose hired Tibbs.
Mm-hmm.
And when he hired Tibbs, he basically placed a sentinel on Tibbs' staff. Johnny Bryant was a sentinel. He wasn't a Tibbs guy. Tibbs had no control over Johnny Bryant, literally. Because Leon Rose wanted Tibbs to do certain things. 1, develop the players, or young players. 2, play them. 3, the minutes was a problem. So, because that had caused prior problems in other locations, Tibbs was. The minutes was an issue. So, basically, Johnny Bryant was there, and he was the guy whispering in Tibbs' ears, almost every game, And although he was there doing that, there were times where we still had problems with the minutes. There was a point similar to tonight's game, matter of fact, similar to tonight's game. And there was a Boston Celtics game where Quickly played 20 straight minutes, similar to tonight's game. If you look at the minutes, we tend to look at the minutes. The minutes by itself is not a problem, seems. It is the stretches of 12 to 18 minutes. Tonight, if you look at Brunson, he probably in the 20-something minutes straight. That is the problem. Because all the teams play their best players, heavy minutes. But our coach does not rest anybody, period.
Okay.
He does not take his best players. He plays out of desperation from the start of the game to the end of the game. And because all the restrictions that were placed on him when we hired him And throughout that process, have gone. He doesn't have no restrictions no more.
Okay.
There's no barrier.
Can I
There's
ask you a
nobody to
question?
tell him stop.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know?
Sure.
Do you personally know what Johnny Bryant was whispering to Tom Thibodeau?
No, I don't. Personally, I don't know. But I'm very observant.
Mhm.
And I can see there were plenty of games. Johnny Bryant would get off the bench and talk to Tibbs. Do this, do that. Give him advice. So far, I only have seen this once, and that was Jaylen Brunson Senior. I think that's his name.
Rick Brunson.
Rick
You know,
Brunson.
Rick Brunson. Once it has happened. That was I can't remember which game it was. You know, but it only happened once, and Tibbs didn't listen in that game. He actually just ignored Rick Brunson.
How do you know?
But we all know. We all
Okay. So, but how do you know he didn't listen to him?
because he did not take. He did not.
Well, how do you know what he told him?
It was Brunson. It was the minutes issue. Brunson. There was they were up by 10, 12 points in one game, and he was trying to get Brunson because Brunson had played about 14 minutes straight, and he was trying to get Tibbs to substitute. That never happened.
How do you know that he was trying to get Tibbs to substitute? That's what I'm trying to ask.
That's just my observation.
That's your opinion.
I could be wrong. I could be 100%
That's your
wrong,
opinion.
but that was my observation. And that's what I believe he was trying to do.
He could have went up to him and said, "Put Brunson on this guy and put Josh Hart on that guy."
Yes, he could have said that. But the game, the point of the game, what was going on, it was that we were extending a lead, and we were on a stretch where we were up 12 points and extending the lead. So it wouldn't make sense to say by reading up the game, it wouldn't make sense to say, put this guy and that guy, because we up 12 in the fourth quarter. It was early in the fourth quarter.
It could
so
make
we
sense.
were up.
No. Check
I
it
cannot
out.
remember the exact game, but
But it could make sense. Brunson could have got a fourth foul, and he said, "Hey, why don't you do this switch right here to make sure Jaylen doesn't get another foul?" Or I'm just using that. No.
We can kind of make excuses, but
I'm not making excuses. You're saying, you're telling me,
up scenarios.
You're making up scenarios that we don't know exist. That's what exactly. You're saying that Rick Brunson told Tom Thibodeau to make a substitution, and he didn't make a substitution, and we don't know that to be the case.
Okay.
We don't know that.
Okay, well, let's go on your premise. That's not the case. And he wasn't asking Coach Steve to make a substitution.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, Brunson was in the 15-minute range straight.
Okay.
So even though he's not asking Tibbs to make a substitution, which is to me even a delegation of duty, not to ask this coach to take the guy out when he's playing 15 minutes straight. So if we're going on your premise that he's not telling him that means he's watching his son play, at a 15 minutes straight, and he was basically our offense in that game.
Okay.
He was basically our offense. He was the driving force.
Okay.
So therefore, he himself is not doing anything. To me, if you have an assistant coach and he cannot tell the coach to actually take this guy out, then what's the purpose of having him?
You don't,
because that's why you have assistant coaches for.
You're right. You are exactly right.
To kind of guide you when you get to focus on one thing or the other.
You are exactly right. That is exactly what you have assistant coaches for. To give you advice, to look at certain parts of the game, to give you some strategies, to help you with substitutions, but also you don't know what the game plan is behind closed doors. They could all agree They say, "Yup, all right, we got to play this guy, got to play that guy, got to play that guy." They could. I'm just not when it comes to coaches, saying, "Well, this coach ain't doing this," or Johnny Bryant used to tell him to do this and do that, or Rick Brunson is not worried about his son playing a certain amount of minutes.
I hate to interrupt.
I don't know.
I hate to interrupt you.
No, but hold up. We don't know what those conversations are. We don't know what the strategies are behind the scenes. We don't know what they've discussed about who's going to play what minutes. We don't know any of that. So I can't sit here and say, yes, Rick Brunson told him to make a substitution. Yes, Rick Brunson is upset that Jaylen Brunson is playing a lot of minutes or play 20 minutes straight, or I can't say any of that with certainty.
Well, I'm not saying he was upset about it, but all I know, he was trying to get Tibbs to make a substitution. Tibbs waved him off several times.
Okay.
That's what he was trying to get Tibbs to do.
Okay.
That's as far as I can tell by me. I watch the sideline constantly to see what the interaction between coaches.
Okay.
And when I was looking at this is what he was trying to do: get Brunson some minutes, because it was a point in the game. Even though the Knicks were going up, it wasn't that crucial. It wasn't towards the end of the game. It was where you can rest. You can rest him for 2 minutes, take a timeout. That's about 6 minutes altogether. At least give him 6 minutes of rest. And I thought that would have been a prudent thing to do, but he didn't do that. Nonetheless, I don't want to get too stuck on this thing, because again, we all know. I think you will agree with me that Johnny Bryant was not part of Tibbs' staff or his hire. Can we agree on that?
Say that again.
Johnny Bryant was not Coach Tibbs' regional hire. It wasn't. It was Leon Rose that made that decision to put Johnny Bryant on Coach Tibbs' staff.
It's possible. I don't know, but it's possible. I think the idea behind Johnny Bryant was that Donovan Mitchell was going to be a Knick.
And he was basically associate head coach, because we all believe at some point he would replace Tibbs.
I didn't.
A lot of people did.
You didn't believe.
A lot of people did. I didn't know that to be true. In my mind, he had an unproven track record, so I wasn't going to say, yeah, he's his replacement.
Okay. But at least we know that wasn't Tibbs' decision to bring him on board. Can we agree to that point?
I think that's a fair assumption.
I don't know, but I do think the purpose of Johnny Bryant was Donovan Mitchell.
I think that's also
that was
a fair
the purpose.
assumption.
I think it was Donovan Mitchell.
I will agree.
I think
to
Donovan
that.
Mitchell. I think Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau. Everybody believed that Donovan Mitchell was going to be a Knick, and so Johnny Bryant was brought over to be the Donovan Mitchell whisperer, because that is like they're close. So yes, that was the purpose in my mind of Johnny Bryant coming to New York for Donovan Mitchell. I think everybody believed Donovan Mitchell was coming to New York, including Donovan Mitchell. Then obviously we know what happened. And you see Johnny Bryant ended up in Cleveland because of Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
So.
Okay. My next point I would like to make. Can we agree that as a coach, as Tibbs coaching the Knicks, that we have seen on the coach to play young players, develop young players, and regulate players' minutes to some extent? Can we agree that he has done all these things?
I disagree that he has not played young players. I'm sorry. I disagree. I disagree that he has not played young players.
No, that's not what I said. I said he has done those things. He has developed them. He has played them.
You said he has developed them. I'm sorry.
He has developed quickly. He has developed
yes.
Grimes.
Yes.
Can we agree that he has done those things in the past?
He has developed those players, yes. Helped to develop those players. I'll say helped. Yes.
So therefore, if you are general manager and can we agree that this team has the potential of winning it all? There is the potential of this team winning it all.
I'm not sure about that. Me personally, I'm not sure that this team, as currently constructed, has the potential to win it all.
Okay.
I think we need more.
But as currently constructed, we can all agree one thing at keeping this team from even sniffing maybe the Eastern Conference is the bench.
Yes.
Can we agree on that?
I think the bench is weak. I do.
Okay. So therefore, the point I'm trying to make, if I am as a general manager, if I'm putting a team together with a coach,
Mm-hmm.
the coach has a tremendous input in how we go about putting that thing.
Agreed. 100%. 100%.
From trades to players to bench to all of that.
Yes, all of that.
So therefore, if you put in this team together and you know you don't have a bench, what was Coach Steve's responsibility to do?
So, one, sometimes you have to go get the player, right? The star player, and understand that we're going to have to rebuild the bench. Sometimes when that opportunity is there and you can strike, sometimes you have to strike. And you might go into it knowing, look, we're giving up some pieces. We may not have a bench. Or we may not have a strong bench.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree.
Right? So you got to go get those guys. I don't think it means that they don't have a plan to do it in the future. It just takes a little time to rebuild that portion of the team.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
But the reason this team was set up this way, it was not because they couldn't get the plays. It's because now we're in a new era of aprons.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this team was set up this way. You know, if it's past days where you don't have to worry about aprons, you can get your bench literally with good play, good plays. You cannot do that no more. You have to budget to make sure you don't get past certain aprons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if you do, it's going to there's a move to be made.
Yeah. Well,
so therefore, Tibbs knows what he was getting into. You see, my problem with what he's doing and what he has done, because early on, I was saying this is not a recipe for winning a title. Because, the pressure was low, no pressure. You ain't winning nothing in November. Nothing in those early months. There's nothing to be won. But there's a lot of work you can develop your plays, And one thing, I hear often is how players have to earn Tibbs' trust. 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 But I have never heard nobody talks about how teams have to learn to trust players. It's like trust goes one way.
If you earn, I think if you earn, well, no, but see, I think if you earn somebody's trust, then that person does trust you. I don't think you automatically give somebody trust. I don't think you just give somebody trust.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
It works that way for me personally. I don't just trust somebody. They've got to earn my trust, and then I trust that person. And I think it's that way for most coaches too. Like, you don't just throw someone out on the floor that you don't believe they can play, or you don't know if they can play. You want to see what they can do. They've got to earn your trust. To me, that is the proper way to coach a team. You put in players that you trust are going to execute what you want to execute. Whether that philosophy is right or wrong, that's up to everybody's opinion, right? If that philosophy is right or wrong, that's anybody's opinion, and nobody's right, no one's wrong, to be honest with you, about that opinion. That's why there's debates. But that coach is going to trust the players that can implement his philosophy or her philosophy. And that's the players that are going to play. Now, you may not like the philosophy, and that's okay. But if I am going to get fired, I'm not going to get fired playing people I don't trust. I'm going to get fired playing people that I trust and that use my philosophy, because I'm going down on my sword, not on somebody else's sword.
Yes, Sims. That sounds very logical in a sense. But there might be players you might think they're worthy of giving some trust, because trust doesn't have to be 100%.
But that's
Trust
your
can be,
trust. But
you
see,
know what? I can
that's-
give you certain trust. I can see what you're going to do. I can trust you to go on the court.
But that's
I can
your
trust you
trust.
to defend.
But look, that's
know-
your trust. Everyone is going to have their own standard of trust. That's your trust,
But
right?
since this is a professional sport,
Exactly.
this is a. You see, if this was high school, this coach would be legendary. If this was college, because this coach would be probably a Hall of Fame, because his coaching philosophy is the Bobby Nice philosophy, where I am the ruler of everything. Okay, but this is professional sports,
So
where
what does that mean?
where you have to, when you drafting players at a high level, you're literally drafting players,
So
at a high level. So sometimes this is what actually happens in professional sports. Because if you draft a guy at number 1, you're not going to play. You're not going to put him on the bench
listen,
and tell me you don't trust him. Your friends are going to like that.
hold on.
They're going to call for you fire me.
RJ Barrett was drafted number 3. Did he play? Started right out the gate. RJ Barrett.
Yes.
He started right out the plate.
Yes.
Right out the gate. Right?
Right out the gate.
So, I mean,
because you draft him so high. So you're trusting, you see what you're talking about trust. You're talking about a lot of times is those players that fall between, they're not high draft picks or something like that. So a coach can do whatever you want to those players.
But how do you know?
But if you draft a player, if you draft a player like say Yambanyana, number 1, are you going to tell your fans you don't trust this guy to play him?
Maybe. Listen, Obi Toppin was drafted number 8, a lottery pick. He came off the bench and got 12 minutes a game. And people were pissed off about it.
Yes.
Right? That is the way things. I don't care if you're the number 1 pick or the number 28 pick. That is how things are supposed to go when you're on a competitive basketball team.
But Obi Toppin got playing time nonetheless. Although there were times when this coach just pulled him out for absolutely no reason, he still got playing time.
So my point is, for the most part, everybody's going to play in the league, in the NBA. There's going to be some politics. For the most part, Tom Thibodeau doesn't really play those politics. He plays who he trusts. And if he doesn't think a guy deserves to be on the floor, he doesn't put him on the floor. Leon Rose went and traded for Cam.
That's not true. That's not true.
I believe it's true.
That's
he went
not true.
Leon Rose
That's
went.
not true.
Leon Rose traded for Cam a couple years ago with the expectation that this guy was going to play. Tom Thibodeau did not like his style of play. Tom Thibodeau did not play him.
He also sat Kemba. He also sat Fournier.
He sat Ken exactly. Guys that you would think, because of the money they made, because of their name, because Leon Rose went and got them, would have played because of the politics of it, and he sat them.
You
So
know,
to me, that's the way.
I
That's the way it
never
works.
had the expectation for Coach Tibbs to play Cam, because, like I said, Cam was like a 15. If I remember right, he was about draft pick or what? He got drafted about the
Right,
15th
but
position,
Leon Rose
right?
traded a first round pick for that dude.
Here's a player that coming from another team where the other team wasn't even playing him.
Yeah.
So therefore, to us, Coach Tibbs to change his perspective or whatever thing he has in his mind, it's just silly because, again, Cam wasn't like a first round pick with star potential, and if you draft a guy like that, you're just not going to put him on the bench. Your fan base is not going to stand for it.
I
You
disagree.
know that. I know that.
But see, I disagree. I think Tom Thibodeau will put him on the bench. But Nev, I appreciate your time. I love the conversation. Please make sure you call back.
All right.
We have a lot to
Me
talk
too.
about. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
No problem. You have a good night.
Peace. I wasn't sure, but everything that Nev was saying, I felt like he was kind of, because I thought he was going to tell me that Tom Thibodeau, that it's not good that he would not play a first round pick or whatever it is because, he's too hard. He doesn't. I wasn't sure what the point he was saying there. I'm just going to say this.
I think he was saying he has no choice. He had no choice to play RJ. That he was out. He had these restrictions, these barriers when he first got here, and it pretty much was lifted. I honestly,
I don't think.
I think what he's misunderstanding is, if anything, the front office, Leon Rose and Thibodeau got on the same page.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
and it became more of a collective than you know what I mean? Hey, I'm not gonna keep making a move without your okay or without your approval or without your advocating for.
Right. Exactly. And
you know what
I
I mean?
don't think any coach, I'm not gonna say any coach. I think if you have a good president, GM, they don't put restrictions on the way you play your players. I don't think they do, because that sets a bad precedent. You're not going to get a quality coach come to you knowing that you're going to try to dictate what they do on the court. I just don't see that happening.
Matter of fact, Phil Jackson's, I'm trying to think of who it was. Steve Kerr turned down the Knicks job because he didn't want the restrictions and to follow in the Phil Jackson philosophy of coaching.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then Hornacek took the job knowing that was the stipulation, and then got fired when he tried to backtrack out of it.
Exactly. Exactly. You just, it's bad precedent. It's a bad precedent to set for the front office to put restrictions on the coach on how many minutes they can play players, and all those, what type of offense they should be running. I think it's bad. I think you let the coach do what they do. If they're successful, they're successful. If they're not successful, they're not successful. Like, it's in black and white. You win or you lose. You win or you lose. You know what I'm saying? For an extended period of time or whatever. I don't think that they did that with Tom Thibodeau. And for the record, Tony, we talked about this. Can somebody, I would love anyone in the chat, to name me a player that everybody said, oh, Tom Thibodeau should be playing this guy 20 minutes a game. And Tom Thibodeau didn't play that guy 20 minutes a game. And then they went to another team and became this all-world player. Name somebody, please. Everybody that Tom Thibodeau gave playing time to ended up going to other teams. getting
Excel.
traded, and they're excelling on those other teams. Emmanuel Quickly, R.J. Barrett, Grimes has been doing well. These are all players that Tom Thibodeau, all of those guys that I named were started on this basketball team. Helped the Knicks get to the playoffs. Now you see Deuce. Guys that didn't play, guys that we thought Tom Thibodeau should have played, he decided not to play. It ended up being the same thing when they went to other teams.
Or worse.
Or worse. Kemba Walker's retired. Right. Where's Evan Fournier right now?
Overseas.
Overseas.
Cam's playing just as sporadically, if not worse.
Right. How many minutes is maybe Obi's getting more minutes, maybe?
Yeah, but he played with us.
He played.
So even with that, you know what I mean? Like the first part of his statement holds true. You know what I mean? He was probably used sparingly, but he was in the rotation. He played. So he was developed. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there hasn't been, you know, a player that Tom Thibodeau didn't play that went someplace else and we can say, see, you should have played that guy. You know what I mean? So in my estimation,
Shoot, like
being
Chad B.
right.
Ryan said, even when he stopped playing Rose never kind of came back
Never bounced back.
from that.
Never bounced back. I see Sean. Is that Sean talking about Cam Reddish?
Yeah.
Cam Reddish, 3.4 points per game. In 18 minutes. He's getting 18 minutes. He's averaging 3.4 points per game. 42% shooting. 28.9% shooting from the three-point line. That's what we want.
Honestly, you can make an argument. He did more in less time here.
Exactly.
Like when he got the opportunity. But even with that, I think with him it was attitude more than anything else. It wasn't, and obviously he ain't, like you said, he ain't put it together in LA.
Yeah. Listen, Sean, Cam Reddish is averaging 3.4 points. Don't let me fool you. I don't have to fool you. Go look at the man's statistics. And it'll tell you what you need to know. That's all I got to say.
I was a Cam guy. I was one of the people rooting for Cam. So I still watch, you know what I mean, as many Laker games as I can just to keep an eye. He hasn't shown anything more than what he showed with us or with Atlanta. Like honestly, you could make an argument he's digressed.
Yeah. You know, just because somebody is starting doesn't necessarily mean that they're a starter. You know, and it could have been, oh yeah, he went there and he started because they were like, you know what, let's give him a shot. We're gonna let him do what he does. Oh, hold up. He ain't that good. Nah, we can't play him. Come on, man. Don't play me, Sean. You know what's going on. And that's the only guy, though. A guy that's averaging 3.4 points per game is the only guy that you guys can point out. Is there somebody else? Because we all complain, he's not playing this guy, he's not playing that guy, he's not playing that guy, he's not playing that guy. And we did it the year before, too. And the year before then. And none of those guys, unless he kept them like Deuce, right? And now look what Deuce is with this team. No, Cam Reddish is the only guy that people can say.
Didn't he have Ntilikina the last year here? Because he put him in the playoffs in that last possession.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right? What has Ntilikina done since he's left?
Gone out the league.
How about Kevin Knox?
Right. And that was my guy. I wanted Kevin Knox to do well. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man. Tom Thibodeau's put the right players on this basketball team. If assuming that him and Leon Rose got that kind of connection, put the right players on this basketball team. In my opinion, has played the right players, has not played the players that don't deserve to play. Because when they left here, they either produced for other teams, like they were producing for us, or continue to not produce. I haven't seen anybody go to another team and explode. Nobody. Someone said Tom was late on Deuce. Maybe we were early on Deuce. Maybe people were early on Deuce. Sean said Grimes is better. Grimes is playing well. Grimes had 30-point games with the Knicks as a starter. Did he not?
He was definitely on Tibbs' good side.
Last season, before he got hurt, he was slotted in as the starting shooting guard. He's the one who put Evan Fournier on the bench.
Yep.
As a situational player.
Yep.
What are we talking about? Come on. What are we talking about? Silk, what's popping with you, bro? How you feeling?
What up, fellas?
I'm chilling,
Oh, man. Tony says
arguing with people as
that
usual.
last conversation, I had to look up the acronyms NPO, and I found out there's a group called Military Police Order, Metropolitan Planning Organization. Now we got the Menace Police. Because
Got the Menace Police, baby.
this stuff is killing me. Cam Reddish, we talking Cam Reddish here? He lost his spot as soon as on the interview. He said he thinks he's a superstar. He lost all confidence with Tibbs when Tibbs heard that interview. And I love me Grimes, but Grimes lost his spot when he said he had trouble hitting open shots because he don't get the ball enough. You ain't good enough to get the ball enough, yo.
Yeah.
Some of these young kids think they better than they are. I love Grimes, but everything is like 45 speed with this dude. He don't know how to slow his game down, and Tibbs saw that. So he was trying to get him to slow down. And he was not happy with his shot selection. And he ain't getting that same shot selection in Dallas. He getting the same amount of touches he got in Dallas, he got hit.
Mm-hmm.
But he know if he complained again, he'd probably be in Europe like everybody else. So he's setting up now.
I mean, Grimes went through a bad slump. In his second season with the Knicks, he averaged 11.3 points per game. That's the most he's averaged in his career. This season, he's averaging 10.4. He shot 46.8% from the field. Shot 38% from the three-point line. Similar numbers this year. Right?
Right.
The next season, 23-24, Grimes went through a little bit of a thing. Right? He was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Came back, struggled, got traded.
And Tibbs still held his spot for him.
He did.
and people were rushing on Deuce. Deuce showed what he could do in the G League. When he started showing that his G League numbers started matching his NBA numbers, he got his contract, he got his minutes.
Right.
Before that, he was hitting threes in the G League, but he kept missing them as a pro.
Yep. Missing them
He
in the
was
league.
struggling. Yep.
And what
still
did
got
Tom,
opportunity.
But here's the thing. What did Tom Thibodeau keep saying?
Oh, he's doing it in practice.
He's doing it in practice.
He's performing. Where he wasn't playing, Deuce was getting all the credit in the post games or the pre-game interviews.
All the time.
So he was on the radar.
Yep. He was like, we're not worried about it. The shot's going to fall. We know that he can shoot. We know. We love his defense. We know. Da-da-da-da-da. He sees the stuff right there.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
That I've been hearing for the past week, and even Tibbs says how good Hart Capote going to be. And so I kept hearing that Sims lost his situation in Minister Hart Capote, but Hart Capote didn't play tonight. Do you think that's more they trying to trade Sims, so let us get him out there to show them what they do? Because I kept hearing that even on the Tibbs interview, he kind of insinuated that depending on the situation, Huckleporty may be chosen over Sims. But tonight, he ain't getting no minutes. Huckleporty.
They're probably coming at some point.
And I think I do think raising his trade value is part of it, but I also think Sims has familiarity in that starting role in the absence of Mitch and in the absence of Cat. So I'd rather run with the familiar thing, keep that bench intact, you know what I mean, and secure the win, as opposed to just, you know what I mean, taking Sims completely out the rotation. Right. So I think it was a win-win. It was a plus. You know what I mean? Showcase him a little bit more, give him an opportunity to raise his value. But also, that's been his role in the absence of the starter for years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he finally threw up that little floater that we kept seeing all summer long that he's been practicing. He missed it, but at least he threw it up there.
Yeah.
But,
you know,
it was a good one tonight. I'm not mad at the minutes because basically the only reason why the minutes got crazy because we had to go to overtime.
Yeah.
And who else you putting in?
Nobody.
Philly got a bunch of big wings.
Yeah.
So who else, you putting Shaman in there? No. So who else you putting in there?
Man, I keep trying to tell people our bench is not what some people think it is. That's just what I think. I just don't think the bench is what we think it is. Some people think.
And the guy I wanted the Knicks to trade for Mitch, the Charlotte center, he went to the Suns. So
yeah, you know, and we're gonna find out one day if the guys are. You know, one day Shamit won't be on the Knicks, probably next year. Cam, and if they're not in the league, y'all gonna hear it from me. You better believe that. If they are not in the league, or if they're, you know, getting 2 minutes a game on somebody's bench, you are going to hear it from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Cam is limited. If he ain't hot from three or pressing on defense, you don't really get much else from Cam.
If
he ain't like an automatic penetrator in the lane all the time.
Yeah.
So
you know,
he gotta be popping them threes for him to have value.
Right.
Or getting steals.
Right. And I'm not gonna say that about Thibodeau and Kolek and Huckporty yet because they're rookies and they're going through the gauntlet. They're learning the standard of work ethic.
It's the Tibbs gauntlet, and it's proven.
Exactly, and it's proven to be successful. Thank you, Tony. It's proven. What did Emmanuel quickly in his letter after he was traded, right? And this was not knocking Tibbs. This was giving Tibbs respect. So don't get it wrong. Right? Said that the way things go with Tibbs, I don't know, he played a preseason game or a game, whatever, and dropped 30. Right? He came into practice and he was given a green jersey, which means you don't play. You're situational. You don't play. You practice. Got into a game, dropped 30. Said he knew when he came back to practice he was going to have a blue jersey. They threw him a green jersey again. And that's when he knew, like, okay, I did it one game. I got to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? He earned his way to get a blue jersey. He earned his way into the rotation. I don't understand what's wrong with that. People think everything's got to be given to a guy. Let them earn it. Sure. That's part of development. Everybody want to throw people in too soon, and then when it don't work, they say, oh, that guy sucks. Instead of letting them develop, actually develop and play when they're ready in the league.
I'm going to be honest. The one guy I like, when he was in there, he didn't look that bad to me. Early on was Thibodeau. He looked like he played a good enough defense.
Mm-hmm.
He was long enough to 6'8". He could stretch the defense. He made a couple of errors on the defense, and after I saw a couple of errors in the defense in the game, I ain't seen Daddy in a Knicks game.
Listen, at the beginning of the season, I thought Dottie was gonna play. I did. Asked Tony. I said, he asked, "Is there one you think would play?" I thought it was Dottie. I agree with you. The coaching staff must
That's the
believe
only one
that
out
he
of the
needs to
rookies
do
right now,
more.
'cause
He needs to
Kohler got
develop
no
more.
spot. As long as Cameron Reddish is here and you got Shamman and you got Deuce,
Yeah.
Kohler don't have a spot.
Right.
You got to get rid of one of those guys for him to play.
Right.
And I
But
thought
Dottie, I thought,
Cordy
had a
had the
shot.
best shot,
You know?
considering no Mitch and Sims limitations.
Yeah. But like Tony said, it's been proven. His system of development with players has been proven.
Another
least with
thing
the
we
Knicks.
talked about. Look at what Deuce told Huck Porty.
Yep.
When he came in the game late in the game. Hey, this is how I got my minutes.
Right.
These minutes here is how I got my rotation minutes.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? You earn your way in. You're not giving anything. Now, if you come in and you're just that much better than everybody, then of course.
Cream rises to the
Come on,
top.
man.
I'm going to ask you guys one more question, and I'm going to be out.
Yeah, because I'm about to be out too. Tired as a mug. I've been up since.
To make the big move, because it always happens, the one guy that always gets traded for the big star player is Josh Hart. Do you think with this Knicks organization and with this, that will ever happen? Now, I'm talking about a star move.
I mean, what kind of star move you talking about?
Like one of them defensive wings that we keep trying to get from the Pelicans. Trey Murphy, Jones. One of them guys that can't get removed over here.
I don't think Josh Hart gets traded for those guys.
Okay.
He's
There's
too
gonna be no
valuable to
Giannis
this
move,
team.
and we don't want Embiid no more because he's done.
Nah, we don't
So
want. Nah.
there's no really, and then we don't want Durant. So those kind of old superstars are not coming. We don't want that.
Nah, we don't.
Man, I wish we had draft capital to get Trey Murphy.
Yeah.
Especially now at $5 million. Because
Right.
next year he jump up to 25.
Right.
I mean, either way we would have to pay him, but I don't care about that. But to get him now
But I
at
see that-
5, if we had
That's what the Knicks are looking at. The Knicks are
look.
looking at what's the name, the other guard, the other defensive OG copycat from Pelicans, or Trey Murphy, or Mitchell Robinson.
Jones.
Yeah, Jones. That's
Yeah, I
the
like him
Knicks
too.
are trying to get one of them from the Pelicans for Mitchell Robinson, and Mitchell Robinson now, and Pelicans say, "Nah, we good."
Yeah.
But that's who they want. They want another big wing if they get rid of Mitch.
Okay.
Because I keep hearing Valanciunas from the Wizards. I don't want
I
Lurk
don't
from the
want
Munsters on my team.
I don't
He's
want
slow, he's
Valanciunas.
spotted, he can score,
yeah.
he can rebound, but he don't block shots, he don't move. He see me sitting in the
Nah,
paint.
I
I don't
yeah.
want no slow backup moving center.
I'm not sold on Valanciunas being with the Knicks.
I'm not sold, but I'm not 100% against it either. Like my preference is see what Mitch brings. You know what I mean? But it's not a, you know what I mean? You never know how durable he'll end up being.
Right.
So
And that,
if my choice
they keep getting pushed back farther and farther. First mid-January, then late January, now February.
Yeah. I don't know.
I do think Valanciunas would bring value because you know what you're getting night in, night out. You know what I mean? Like he would solidify the second unit as you getting 10 and 10 off in the second unit automatically. I do think he's an underrated passer. You know what I mean? So that's another dynamic of moving the offense through the center. We have that with Cat, so we keep that with the second unit. And then the fact of the matter is our defense hasn't been great. So he's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not like oh, we're losing defense because Mitch hasn't been here. I'm saying It's not like we're losing defense to get him. We're just doubling down on offense, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
he's
kind
not my
of feel
preference
like,
though.
yeah, I kind of feel like he We already slow. You know, so I'd rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
want that. Yeah. I'd rather just stick with Mitch, and then if we got to trade him next year, we
I'd
trade him next
rather
year.
if I was trading with the Wizards, I'd rather trade for Kuz.
Oh yeah, that's
Now,
my.
I don't know what and I'm just speaking hypothetically without talking about money and all of that, like how much he's paid and all of that. You
We
know what I
could
mean?
do it. He's 23 million,
23 million.
23.5.
Yeah, I would rather trade for Kuz. I think he'd be perfect off the bench for this team. Solidify the bench.
The only thing is, it would take Mitch, Precious, Deuce.
It might
You
take
know what I
them
mean?
other
So,
guys.
but that's a solidified 20 off the bench. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
might take some other guys. I'm not trying to trade Deuce though.
Yeah, this ain't going nowhere. Not this year.
I'm not trying
You know,
to trade Deuce.
maybe after next year,
And then it'll be-
when he's up for a contract redo, and we ain't got the money for that. But cause that's why I hear the guys on the G League ain't coming up here yet because of the minimum vet. We can't afford it yet. That's gonna take over the secondary country. We gotta wait till March.
Man,
Trying to bring him up here.
I'm
They
trying to let them guys marinate. You know what I'm saying?
Now I think he talked about Okiki or
and
Warren.
Warren and TJ Warren, yeah. That's the
Okay,
only
them
reason
guys.
why
Okay.
they're not up here
Right,
yet.
right,
because
right.
cause they got the time, they would be eligible for the
Yeah.
veteran minimum, which we can't afford.
Yeah, you know.
I ain't gonna lie,
Till
I'm
March.
leaning towards Okiki over Warren,
Okay.
and Warren's been playing great,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the upside with Okiki and there's not that far of a gap in the separation of how well they both been playing.
Yeah,
I'd rather go with the youth and the upside.
yeah. I mean,
But they both would be entitled to a vet minimum. You're not getting them on no 10-day contract.
right,
But at the time.
right. No doubt. Shout out to
But
VI.
it's been good.
Oh, 1 second. I just want to give a shout out to VI NYC. It says salute MBK. Josh Sharp should retire. Nick, this era's John Stark. Hopefully with a title. Have a great night. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I would love for Josh Sharp to remain in Nick until he's done. I like what
I know.
what he symbolizes.
As you know, Sims, whenever he gets traded, it's in a superstar package.
Yeah. You know.
AD, whenever Josh goes somewhere, he's part of that superstar package. I'm
Right.
worried. I don't think with Tibbs he would want to get rid of Hart.
Nah,
But
it's one of his guys. Silk, I appreciate you, man.
all right, fellas, have a good
All right,
one.
have a good one. Peace. The coolest said, you might as well go after Trey Murphy if you're thinking of Kuz. There was a caveat. I said, if I'm pulling anyone from the Wizards, I would rather Kuzma. I wasn't comparing him to Trey Murphy or any other player on any other team. I was just speaking specifically about the Washington Wizards.
And we don't have the asset, the trade asset, the oh my God, the draft capital for Trey Murphy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's making $5 million this year. We could do it easily. They're gonna want first round picks.
Yeah. But man, guys, I gotta go to sleep. I'm mad tired. Tony, I think I could probably do the lounge tomorrow night.
I sent it, so it's in there.
You know, we could talk about time because then after I do the lounge, I'm gonna be on the road.
Okay.
You know, I'll probably catch a nap, then I'll be on the road. But yeah, because I'm like, I had a mad long day. So I'm you know, to the end. To the end.
It's so good, my brother. More importantly than doing the losers lounge, we got the win.
Yeah, word.
So we were able to do the losers
my
lounge.
day was so long, I even stole the governor's budget. Maryland's governor released the budget today. Well, you know, publicized some of the budget. And I walked out of the legislative building with a box, like this, big, I don't know, 8 inches high, whatever, all full of the budget. I wasn't supposed to. One of them gave it to me. I had to run and put that joint in my car before they found out, like, oh, this dude got the budget.
Not like the actual money, right?
I wish it was the actual money. Maryland's in a budget crisis right now.
I know why you on the road tomorrow. Could have had the whole state all messed up.
I got the budget right there. You know, I can look at it and be like, oh, they're spending money in all the wrong places. Publicize it if I want to.
Hey, you gonna be a whistleblower?
Nah, I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't saying nothing. Governor might be listening right now, like, what? Let me find out who gave that man that budget.
You might divert some funds, make some amendments, slip an extra sheet in there.
Something, right? With such and such nonprofit. Who's that nonprofit getting $2 million, $5 million, $10 million? Oh no, must be a good cause. Keep it in there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all, man.
East Blue Drew said the feds is coming. So.
It probably is. I need to get out of here. Anyway, we out of here, folks. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.